Thank you, Jenny and David, and congratulations to our 2019 Author Appleby Award winner. Okay, there we go. Next, I would like to welcome Aria Rosfar to the stage from the University of Illinois at Chicago, who is chair of the Oscar Causey Award Committee. Aria?
Good morning, everyone. LRA awards the Oscar S. Causey Award each fall for outstanding contributions to reading research. Dr. Oscar S. Causey was the founder of the National Reading Conference and served many years as chair of the executive committee. The award is awarded annually to recognize outstanding contributions to literacy research and it was first presented in 1967. There have been 49 Causey winners in the 69-year history of LRA. The criterion for consideration of the Oscar S. Causey Award is, there are 6 criteria. The first is that the individual has published substantial research in literacy. The second is that the individual has published significant research. The third is that the individual has published original research. And the fourth, the individual has generated new knowledge through literacy research. The fifth criterion, the individual is recognized as a leader in the conduct and promotion of literacy research. And finally, all of this is aligned with the mission statement. It has been my privilege to be the chair of this committee for the last 3 years. I would like to thank and recognize the committee members who have done a lot of hard work in selecting the winners from a pool of very qualified candidates. First, I'd like to recognize our liaison to the board, Sarah McCarthy. Would you please stand up? From the University of Illinois. Peggy Albers, who's not here with us today. Rahat Zaidi. Anna Cristina De Silva. Ian O'Byrne. Tisha Lewis Ellison. And Judith Lysaker. Finally, I would like to add that the Oscar Causey is the award with the most mystique in that it has this very highly suspenseful revelation process, which I've had the honor of being the first person to know who the winner is each year. And while at the beginning of this process I was a little bit opposed to that whole tradition because I'd like to have more transparency and all that, I have to admit it is quite a sweet feeling to be the only person in the universe to know who the Oscar Causey Award winner is. So, Mary, if you would like to change that tradition, it's up to you, but it is a sweet feeling. So, without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Peter Johnson to do the big reveal.
The envelope, please. Oh, in glasses. Sorry, have to be able to see it as well. Okay. So, colleagues, it's my honor to reveal to you this year's Oscar Causey winner. For convenience, let's call our winner OCW for Oscar Causey winner. Our star was born in Bentleyville. It's on the other side of Pennsylvania. Here is a slide, an early picture of OCW. OCW is the one on the left. Notice the already evident alert enthusiasm that will characterize OCW's future career. Another early picture revealing OCW undaunted by short stature and revealing the enthusiastic, joyful attitude that would become one of OCW's many endearing qualities. Many of us have been to high school reunions, not so many of us to 50th reunions, but here is OCW among classmates as they'd possibly like to be remembered. To see if you can find OCW amongst these. All right, to step back a little here, we see OCW in his budding maturity. Some will recognize the hair, some will recognize the eyes, some perhaps the ears. But really the giveaway is the shirt. We see here the foundation of a fastidious dresser, the intersection between an obsessive personality and a stunning sense of fashion. A recent inventory of his wardrobe disclosed the following items: 128 long-sleeve button-down shirts, 66 short sleeve button-down shirts, 20 long-sleeve knit shirts, 91 short-sleeve fancy shirts, 42 sweaters, 53 pairs of pants, mostly black, 36 suits and sports jackets, and 80 ties. The younger of two siblings, OCW was often left in charge of cooking for the family, which led to a lifetime interest in, obsession with cooking, and a collection of 5 different Weber grills. Records show him using 4 at once while gesticulating with a glass of wine. Here we see a piece of that. A researcher to the core, during his one and only one sabbatical, he worked every weekend to perfect the grilling of barbecued ribs. We see here this obsessiveness too in his sources of caffeine. While completely rejecting coffee, his briefcase and pockets reveal a supply of very specific teas, and we see here some would say excessive acquisition of chocolate. He is reported to have entered almost every single chocolate shop in Belgium to buy one at each place. Academic life. OCW received a grade of unsatisfactory for conduct in 2nd grade. It turns out that he loved playing jacks, a game predominantly played by girls. In fact, his excessive talking to girls prompted his unsatisfactory grade. He received a BA in English from Penn State, along with an enduring love of literature and a couple of boxes of books that subsequently accompanied him from state to state. Goodreads, in fact, recognizes his having read 2,518 books and writing hundreds of reviews, some many paragraphs long, others short, as in, totally stupid and well worth reading, offering a glimpse of his playful sense of humor. His MA and EDD were from the University of Virginia. OCW's first job was as a reading language arts teacher at Buckeye Valley Schools in Ohio. Subsequent positions prior to the most recent one were La Trobe University in Australia, the Laboratory of Comparative Human Cognition, Director of Sesame Street Preschool Education Program, and University of Texas at San Antonio. OCW has generated almost $40 million worth of grants, sparking rumors of some sort of basement ATM. OCW has published over 100 articles, chapters and books with over 10,000 citations on Google Scholar. OCW received a prestigious award from the Children's Television Workshop and research awards from the University of Illinois at Chicago and the University of Texas, San Antonio. But OCW's obsession with and deep commitment to children's and young adult literature is legendary and is evident throughout his work. In fact, his office has been compared to the children's section of the Chicago Public Library. As an adventurer, OCW has traveled widely and is blessed with a wife who, besides also being a researcher, is an exceptional photographer. As a leader in literacy, OCW has been editor of language arts. He's collaborated with organisations, federal agencies, schools and libraries across the country. He's been on the boards of LRA and ILA. He's in the Reading Hall of Fame, and he's been the president of ILA. In a competitive and often divisive field, I have not found a single person who doesn't look fondly on our Oscar Causey winner, a kind, humble gentleman and scholar who's made a difference to many people's lives, and particularly to the field of early literacy. Our world was deeply diminished by his untimely passing on February 3rd, 2018. We continue to mourn the loss of Bill Teal, professor, at the University of Chicago, Illinois at Chicago, researcher, adventurer, generally lovely man, and this year's Oscar Causey winner. Now, I included here two additional photos of Bill that are sort of natural poses. This is Bill in a laughing state, which is his resting state, I think. And this also is captures Bill with Junko. Junko couldn't be here either because she is in Russia dedicating a section of a public library with a collection of their books, their children's books. It's an American collection of books to a children's library. So his daughter, Alyssa Yokota Lewis, will accept the award on Bill's behalf.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter. You got it mostly right. The clothes, totally. The grills, definitely. That is me. Just share with you all that I am currently holding his beloved pigeon keychain from Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus, his favorite book to read out loud. Oh, I wasn't ready for you to make me cry before I had to get up here, but thank you. When I was 15, I fell in love with the shorter Oxford English Dictionary. That 2-volume treasury of magic, a whole planet of words that live in communities with family, friends, and foe, hidden stories and mystifying forms, and nearly as many exceptions to the rules as rule followers. Bill kept his in a secure glass front cabinet, protected but not inaccessible, something to be respected, not avoided. I remember pulling it out, laying on the floor with it, picking a random word from a random page and seeing where it led me. I found that, as with so much else, there were surprising and delightful connections. When I discovered perambulate, I remember thinking, wonderful. There is a word that exactly describes the long meandering walks that I love to take, not just in definition, but in sound and feeling as well. You know, normal teenage behaviors and interests. I did not, to no surprise, come to this love of words on my own. My mother instilled in me a love of reading from birth, but my delight with words came later and gradually. Over Tuesday night vocabulary dinners, where every Tuesday night I learned a new word, whether I was sassy about it or not. And then through Easter egg hunts, with candy only at the end, and each egg stuffed with a clue that Bill had stayed up all night writing, and for which he eventually had to be limited to 3 dictionaries to reference. We were only 13 after all, and 4 languages is a lot to work with. I hope that what I am conveying is just how deeply Bill breathed words. He loved words to the point of leaving them everywhere. He labeled everything, I believe, just for the sake of giving it its name. That very transparent blanket bag in the linen closet, yes, that was labeled blanket. But only the one that had 1 blanket in it. The one that had 2 blankets in it, well, of course, that one was blankets. Bill loved words so much. He made it his life's work to find ways to increase access to them, to make reading and literacy a space of equity. He wanted everyone to have the opportunity to fall in love with words the same way he had. And not just words, but their ability to transport a reader through quality literature. He poured himself into research to discover ways to break down barriers to that literature for our earliest readers. The research he did made a difference not just in the academic field, but far, far beyond. And now his legacy lives on. In every child who he read to, in his doctoral students, who he loved as his own, and who continue to who continue the pursuit for equity in early literacy. In my mother, Junko Yokota, and all of the work that she has done with him and continues to bring to the world, and in me. From digital content for K-12 titles to restorative justice and back, I have never lost sight of the necessity of literacy equity starting with our earliest readers. This great love and warm memories are inextricable from my relationship with my father. A stepfather maybe, but a father Bill most certainly was. And to accept this award in his honor is to know how lucky I was to have shared and learned from, one of the most deeply invested and caring people we could ever ask for. It would mean so much to him to be recognized in this way from a place that was in many ways an academic home to him. I'm only sorry he's not here in my place. He would make you laugh and change your life all at once. And he'd probably leave you with something like this. There is no better time than now to do what is necessary and to push back, to challenge what we know and to push back against trends that make reading and literacy a currency limited to the privileged. I hope that the recognition of this award allows a new generation of students to be led by Bill's work. Thank you, LRA, and the Oscar S. Causey Award Committee. Thank you, Oscar Causey. Thank you to you all, and thank you, most of all, to Bill. Thank you.